We vets.
I wish we were more famous though.
I told you after football, we really got to start. We got to come up with a game plan like what we want to do. Because I feel like we've done not like we haven't promoted it, and we're still getting 2,000 views on video. So
I know, wild.
That last one, I think we're over 2,000.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
Is that a PR?
It's close. Our very first one, I think we were right around 2,000 too.
Mm-hmm. A little over.
Yeah. And when we had Coach Lower on, that one was pretty good too. That was one of our bigger ones. But
we had a lot of
Yeah, we just got to get to that 500,000 range, or
you just need one good episode. That's all it takes.
I would take like 10,000, honestly. But hey, this might be the one, Tuck. Might be the one.
Yeah, but
you know a lot of people, right?
Yeah, networking.
Why is it not letting me?
Hopefully all your college buddies back. Tanner Weber's on. Our man, our loyal fan right there.
How do you spell your last name again?
Dickher.
Oh, there you are.
Jeez.
Oh, look at these guys.
I'm getting old, man. I can't
see who's in this thing. So
you can't see the comments at all on the side.
No,
John Argo says tapped in.
Yep, he's my roommate, so he's in the living room.
Nice. Is he related to Willie Argo?
Yes, that's his brother.
His brother we graduated together. I was 07. We split with them my senior year. We were co-MAC champs. Willie Argo hit a bomb at Lumber King Stadium against us. I'm not kidding you. Hit that sucker off the scoreboard.
Yeah, from what I hear, Willie was a beast.
Beast. And he played running back and middle linebacker, and I played center and I blocked. He was a good player. He was a good running back and he was a good linebacker. He could ball.
Hey, good genetics. His little brother's got it too.
Does he?
Yeah.
I can only imagine it because I think his dad was the head baseball coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a legend around those Assumption parts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do.
Assumption.
Yeah, dude was a stud. Played at Illinois.
Zach Irwin's on.
Yeah, shout out to Zach.
Old Zachy Poo's on.
All right. Ben's probably watching too. All right, you want to get rolling? You guys ready to roll?
Popping. Yep.
All right. I am Dustin Coit, my partner over there, JP Stenda. This is Beyond the Scoreboard podcast. This is episode number 24. We want to thank our sponsors. We got AdCraft and Fatleet. Stenda and I both representing the AdCraft Beyond the Scoreboard shirts tonight. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook, our X page as well. You can catch up on any of our past episodes on our site as well. Share, tell your friends, get everybody involved, and get rolling there. Before we get to the guests, I think Stenda is going to kind of fill everybody in, especially our loyal guys, kind of how the pod's going to work once we roll here with football season, as I will be fairly busy with football duties when football comes rolling around. So Stenda, if you want to explain that, I'll let you do that.
Sure. Hey, everybody that's jumped on for the last 9 months, appreciate it. Coach Coit's going to have football season, so we're going to kind of change things up a little bit. We're going to go – the plan is we'll go every other Sunday as opposed to every Sunday. It'll probably be very limited on guests, if any. We're going to kind of focus during football on Coach Coit's football season and then – our football team, Steelers, Bears, some news and stuff in there. There'll be shorter podcasts, probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour at tops. But that'll only, like I said, you got 9-10 weeks of football season, cut that in half, so 4 or 5 weeks. And then once, hopefully, Coach Coit gets to the Dome, wins the state title, then afterwards, around Thanksgiving, we'll get popping back every Sunday with guests. But make sure you keep following along because we're going to really kind of focus on Coach Coit's football season and things he's got going. So that's all I have to say. And then we can roll with our guest.
All right. So Tucker, if you would like to give a brief introduction of yourself, kind of tell us what's going down, and we'll get rolling here.
Yeah. Tucker Dickherber. I am currently a junior at Grandview. I play football here in Des Moines, Camanche graduate, played for 3 years under Coach Coit. Football He was my JV basketball coach, freshman and sophomore year. Obviously know him pretty well. Love spending my time with him. That's about all I got.
What's the major? What are you majoring in?
Okay. Yeah.
I am business administration with a double concentration in marketing and finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart fella.
There. Yeah, he is a smart fella for sure. Well, he'll tell you that too for sure. But you didn't mention Tuck. You are on a 4th place baseball team in high school. Leadoff batter. You know.
Yeah, we had some good years. We had some good teams. All athletics. I had a blast. Freshman
track
through
and field.
Year. I was track guy too. Yeah.
State track, Drake, right?
Yep. I was a plug-in piece, though. I wasn't I wouldn't tell anybody I was a real track guy. I'd tell them I was a plug-in piece on some relays. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So
true.
Those teams, Ethan Schultz and I, we had to battle to make sure our weakest link wasn't embarrassingly weak. It's hard to cut down. We had some pretty fast kids on those teams, so had to do.
Are you still the Sprint Med record holder, or did they beat that?
I think they got it last year.
Did they get it last year? I thought they did. I can't remember.
Guys,
yeah. Yeah. Tuck is a stud. He could do all sports. Played them well.
Did you play at varsity as a sophomore for Coach Coit?
I did. Yes.
Did you?
That was actually, it was his big brain that moved me to safety. I was always an undersized linebacker growing up, and not a very good one, to be exact. Just was kind of out there. And then sophomore year, I think we had some injuries. Small school, so guys played both ways. So I think quarterback played safety. I think Caleb Delzell and Jordan Lawrence kind of rotated back and forth. And then I think Jordan may have went down that year with a meniscus maybe. So Caleb was all-time quarterback. So they threw me in at safety and kind of fell in love with it. Wasn't great at that at first either. Still probably wouldn't say that I'm great at it. But, it led to a couple of years of that. And now I'm where I am at Grandview playing. So,
yeah, I can't take all credit for that because I remember Coach Grimm had something to do with that as well. The funny thing about that whole thing, like when you were like a freshman, you were kind of a little chubbier, not to be rude or anything, but
a little chubbier, even probably on the lighter side of it.
Yeah, and we were like, well, he might have to move him to a lineman, kind of thing. And I know Graham would always joke around with that. And then finally we're like, well, I think Tucker could play safety because he was smart. I mean, he wasn't overly athletic, but athletic enough at that time. Knew he had great instincts, so we did it, and it worked out for him. Now he's playing safety in college. So I guess that is one coaching decision we correctly made.
I remember the day Coach Graham came out to me. He's like, "Hey man, you're starting at safety force Friday." And I said, "Coach Graham, I'm not necessarily sure if you know what you're talking about right now. I haven't played safety a day in my life." But he was like, "Hey, you're just linebacker at the 2A level. You're just playing it a little bit deeper." And that's kind of just the way I looked at it for 3 years. You were just a deeper line. You set your feet at 10 yards. You just play a little bit of a deeper linebacker. I was really undersized as a sophomore, honestly, to be out there at all. But you don't got to hit them high. You got to hit them hard.
Yeah.
You hit them hard and low, they're going to the ground. And I learned that then. And that helps me now to this day, obviously, with some of the bigger guys we run into. So, that was a good decision by them, and I'm definitely grateful for it.
How many INTs do you have your senior year?
At Camanche?
4. 3 or 4, didn't you?
I think more than that. I think.
Your senior year?
Yeah, because I had 4 in that Makokata game.
Oh, that's
4
right.
in one game?
You did have 4 in one game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't think I had.
I think you had 6 your senior year.
Yeah. I probably had a better defensive year probably junior year. I can tell you that. He'll tell you that. Just because the way the team was set up and formatted. Junior year, I could focus a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball because the offense had a plethora of weapons. And senior year, I kind of had to focus a little bit more on that. So, I definitely probably had a better year junior year on defense, but senior year was great too.
Ball hawking 4-1 game. Wow.
Yeah, and then you have your junior year. Do you have 3 against Anamosa or 2?
Just 2, I believe.
There's 2. Okay.
Yeah, I believe just 2.
Yeah. And the one they called I remember the one you picked it off in the end zone. They called it a touchback.
Yeah, it was
You would have went 99 probably on that one.
Yeah, it was
100.
like football all over again. You're not allowed to take it out of the end zone. Not allowed to
Not a
hurt.
rule.
Yeah.
It's only on kickoff. And then that ref apologized to me. He's
Yeah,
like, I got that wrong.
Super
like, yeah, I know you did.
Well, I was like, hey, man, it's all right. We got the ball. It's no big deal. It's not like the calls come back. It could have saved me from an embarrassing moment. Maybe I would have got hawked down. About that
You probably would have.
So maybe the ref did me a favor. Maybe I should find out who it was and send him an email or something.
Yeah, you probably would have got hawked down, but that happened to you a lot at receiver too.
Junior year, sophomore year. I
All right.
met Coach Beal. That helped.
Yep, that helps for sure. All right, we'll get into some more questions for you later on down the road here on the pod, Tuck. We're gonna go through some of our topics we have on the agenda here, and then we'll ask some more questions later. But first topic, for those of you that follow baseball, Jaron Duran just recently got back from a 2-game suspension. There's a fan yelling at him when he was up to bat, and a hot mic caught him saying a homophobic slur. I guess I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to actually say what he said. And if you want to, you can. But
no.
But he got suspended 2 games for that. I guess the question would be is, do you guys agree with the MLB suspending him for that? And then we can kind of go down that road. I'll tell you my thoughts. Stendo, you want to go first on that?
No, or Tucker, if you want to go. Do you follow baseball?
Yeah, I do follow baseball.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bad deal all around. I think we could probably all agree on.
Sure.
Just from the word that was said and it getting caught on the mic. Obviously, baseball is America's pastime. It's a sport that they're trying to grow at the MLB level to keep up with the likes of the NFL, the NBA. It's not a good look for the sport by any means. And I think that they had to do something. I think it wasn't an if, it was a what. I think they had to suspend him. Then you can get into talking, was suspending him for games, was that fair? Did the Astros get suspended for cheating an entire year? Obviously, 2 completely different sides of the ball there. But, you just got to think, well, is this the new norm? Are you going to suspend guys for everything? Obviously, like I said, that's a pretty serious thing, especially when you're trying to grow the game of baseball, to be using that word in general, and especially if they catch it live. And it's getting more press now than, just about anything else in the sport right now. So that's not what they were looking to do. That's not how you want to grow the game of baseball. So they kind of forced their hand. Duran kind of forced the MLB's hand. There was no way that they weren't going to suspend him, I believe. I think it was just, how are they going to suspend him? And the 2 games is what they chose, and that's what he's got to deal with for now.
Yeah. You think 2 games is enough?
Yeah, I mean, 2 games in the MLB is, some may say that's not enough in the 162-game season, but they also took his pay from those 2 games and donated it to some sort of, I'm not sure what the group was. So if you're going to take his pay, I think that probably 2 games is fitting. And those MLB guys are making millions of dollars. So 2 games being donated is probably in the thousands of dollars that he's missing out on. So I think 2 games is probably fair.
Sure. What about you, Coach Coy? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Tucker had a good response there. I mean, I think, just because it was caught on the mic and you could hear it on the broadcast. I'm sure if you were watching the Red Sox broadcast, so they had to do something. I think 2 games is enough. It's different. I'm sure that there have been Major League Baseball players that have said something to a fan in the outfield that never got caught on a mic, and nothing's ever happened to those guys, because the fan could say, Aaron Judge said this to me, but is anyone really going to believe that fan, and the MLB isn't going to do anything about it. But so he just said it at the wrong time. I mean, I'm not condoning what he said. Obviously, what he said was bad and shouldn't be saying that, especially when there's an opportunity that you can be caught on a mic saying it. So yeah, I think it was worthy. The suspension. It's just something you just can't say nowadays. So
Yeah, I think you
Send
both. Yeah, you both make. I mean, I think I don't know. I shouldn't say there's a punishment fit the crime, but I mean, let's just say now 2024. It's just the F bomb. He just says shut the F up. And live TV catches that. There's going to be a repercussion for that. I think, the fact that it's caught on live TV and that you can hear it. I think that's probably going to. You would think at the end of the day you'd be smarter in today's era to that there's going to be something that's going to catch you. Like it's 2024. Like you can be as pissed off as you want to be about that heckler saying you need to think he was saying something like tennis racket. Well, yeah, I'd be pissed too, but yeah, 20 years ago, you probably could get away with that, right? And like I said, nobody's going to catch you. But I feel like now it's like, and then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He's got this. Is he truly sorry for it? I mean, you're sorry that you got caught for saying it. I mean, I think probably what people probably look at is, does he use those type of slurs when it's not on camera? The fact that he gets caught. I think that's what it is now is, people are like, well, if you talk like that, gets caught on live TV, how are they talking behind the scenes with? So I don't know. I think it's more of like just dumb on their part. Like you would think now, everybody's recording and they've got audio and video. Like you just wouldn't say anything.
Well, not only that, but like you would think a Major League Baseball player would be used to fans yelling stuff at them. Like I'm sure that happens every single game they go to, or they play in.
Sure.
Like something.
You played baseball, Coy. I mean, baseball is it's a sport where stuff adds up. It boils over. I mean, I'm sure maybe he was going through a slump or something. Maybe he reached his. I mean, that's as bad as it gets for the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, there's no. He just can't say that with the hot mic there. But yeah, I mean, baseball's that way. Sometimes you get so frustrated. Maybe it just slipped up out of him, which would probably lead you to believe that maybe it's something he says more regularly than not.
Sure.
Yeah. Just playing baseball, I know what going through a slump's like. You get frustrated. I probably said some F-bombs in my day.
Sure.
But
we've all done that.
Not to that extent, like during it. And that's there's no room for it, like you guys said.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a tough topic. I would feel like for both of you guys, because Coach Coit, you're a head football coach. Tucker, you're a collegiate athlete. I mean, it's the stuff like people really don't want to talk about. Let's be honest. Because even right now, we're all kind of like, do you really? I mean, I hate to say it, but 20 years ago, whoever's watching, that those guys were saying that. The guys were saying a lot of things that they couldn't say now. And now it's just all these changes, just technology changes and everything that like you have to be smarter. Like to any guy making that kind of money, just imagine if he said something way worse or did something by an action, you could throw your whole entire career away. And that's what happens. I mean, so it's like, it's more of like, God, you think you'd just be smart enough to just be like, shut up and just don't say nothing, like, because someone's going to catch it. This isn't 1985.
Yeah.
Like,
heat of the moment. Sometimes people can't hold their emotions in certain situations, and I think that's probably just what happened there with him. But
yeah.
Just hope he doesn't do it again. He learned his lesson, got suspended, fined, and leave it at that. Next topic we're going to go into. Last week, the Iowa High School Athletic Associations made some changes, not this coming season, but for next year. They moved boys golf to the fall instead of the spring, and they moved girls tennis to the fall instead of the spring. So obviously they're adding more sports in the fall. I mean, you're going to have cross country, football, golf, volleyball, tennis, all involved in that. Certainly it probably is going to give some ADs a headache. It's more congested and all that. I think this change is kind of like better for the bigger schools than it would be the smaller schools. I'm just thinking as far as a football coach, I mean, I think we have like, I don't know off the top of my head, but at least 8 football players that also did golf this past season. So, I mean, I know there's some sports you can do dual sport in, but I'm speaking selfishly as a football coach. I really would have a hard time having 8 of my guys missing a Thursday practice before a Friday night game, going to play in a golf meet. Not that I mean, I want them to be active, obviously, but the only way they'd be able to do that if they did the golf meets, did 18-hole meets at 9 in the morning. They could play 18 holes during the day and then come to practice for football and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's certainly gonna force kids to make some decisions too. Might make some coaches mad, but it's kind of where I am on it. So I don't know your guys' thoughts for sure yet, but feed them to me.
I think that deep down, Coach Coyd is extremely happy that golf got moved to the fall. And I think that's because it's going to give him some leverage to get some kids out for track. And football coaches like fast kids. So a lot of kids, I think it was a product of COVID and quarantine in 2020. Kids were able to go outside and golf, especially as it lightened up because, you're not in contact with very many other people. Golf is a growing game. I played it a lot. I never played it in high school. I had some really good friends that did. So I think that with golf maybe getting moved to the fall, kids won't have the internal dialogue of, should I play track? Should I play golf? I know track's going to help me get faster for other sports, but golf's definitely more fun than track, I would say. I think we could agree on that as far as the track workouts and stuff. But for a football coach like yourself, Coach Coit, I believe that having track as the main sport in the spring definitely can encourage some kids to get out for that. Faster kids, faster football players, speed kills, and that works well in your offense. So I think that deep down, Coach Coit's probably pretty happy about the move, and that's just my opinion. I don't know if you would comment on that, Coit, but
well, I mean, I'm not gonna go completely into that. I certainly encourage all football players to run track. Yes, if that's kind of what you're getting at, and that certainly will help. That I agree with that. So, but at the same time, though, like I don't want to see like sports programs just dwindle away and we not be able to have them either. So, I do understand that could be a possibility at a school like Camanche with golf. Because I'm going to be honest, it's going to be hard for someone to do 2 sports, football and golf, just because with football we do. I mean, Tuck, you can attest to this. All the schemes we change each week, based off the teams we're playing, the different plays we're putting in. I mean, you got to be at practice, and it's important to be there. You only have really 3 practices a week. You have a walkthrough on Thursday, and then you're playing a game. So they're important to be at. So yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure how all that will go down. Stendo, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree with both of you. I was just looking at Tanner Rubber's comment. See what you guys think. I think smaller schools will struggle with spreading coaches out as well to cover all the sports that are going on in the fall. But is that kind of already a problem? I mean, that's kind of the problem right now with track season, right? You got track, softball, baseball, everything like kind of overlaps at some point. Maybe not as much, but like, I don't know. I feel like I think you just make a good point on it's hard to ask somebody to do football and golf if they're both going at the same time. Like you said, you need to be at football practice. I'm not saying you don't have to be at golf practice.
Right.
But like Tucker, you were saying, it's kind of more of a fun sport, very competitive, and you have to be talented to do it. But, if you have a guy missing, what if you have a guy missing 1 or 2 practices a week for football? You're way behind the curve. I mean,
you're not playing.
You're not going to play if you're a good athlete or, somebody who wants to be competitive. So yeah, that, like I said, maybe is it something that maybe they just try out for a year or 2? And then if they're like, hey, Are they, who knows? What are they going to do? Is it going to be set in stone or?
You think it could be a precursor to baseball and softball getting moved to the spring in Iowa sports?
I think it is. Yep.
I would agree. I was actually going to bring that up. I mean, I truly do think that's probably the next step. And then if that happens, then track might take a hit, if baseball is and softball is on the same season. It'll be nice for the players to, have more of a summer,
Sure.
When you're playing baseball and softball, you're playing from May to the middle of July sometimes. So, and then once that's over, summer's pretty much over after that too. So, that'll be nice in that aspect. The weather isn't great in the spring at the beginning. But you can make it up and throw double headers in there and be fine. So yeah, I think it is the next step. I don't know when it'll happen, but I think you're right, Tuck.
Yeah.
And then back to Tanner's comment about the coaches. I'm just thinking at Camanche right now. We have our head girls tennis coach is also an assistant volleyball coach. So then that coach is going to have to make a decision. Are they going to continue to coach tennis or are they going to continue to coach volleyball? They're one of our football assistants is an assistant golf coach. So then I already know what his decision is, but there's coaches in small schools that are going to have to make decisions based off of that too. So that is going to be an issue as well.
And I'm sure it's probably pretty tough as it is, especially in small schools, to get coaches.
Absolutely.
Even in the big, it's just probably tough because it's not the traditional teacher that's in the school district. It's a lot of non-teachers, and I don't know.
Yeah, of the 6 football coaches we have, there's only 2 that are teachers.
Sure.
Right now, so yeah, you're right.
It's tough.
Oh, very interesting though. But and the state this came out of nowhere too. Even kind of caught. From what I understood, talking to the ADs and some principals, like they kind of caught them off guard a little bit too. So they kind of just posted it and went with it. So that's where we're at.
They backdoored everybody. They say we don't care what you think.
They didn't. That's the state. That's. I don't know if any state guys are listening, but that's what happens sometimes. So
they gotta do what they want, anyways.
That's right. All right, we're moving on here. Next topic. So I didn't actually see this, and I tried to look for it. Stenda said he caught it on a preseason game, but Stephon Diggs sideline rant with his new quarterback CJ Stroud. So kind of makes you question how good of a teammate this guy is. He obviously has been with the Vikings, the Bills, and you've seen him on the sidelines yelling at Josh Allen and all that kind of thing. So I guess, and I'll get into, a situation that happened already this week in practice and talk a little bit about it. But do you guys think him doing that, is he a bad teammate? Do we really know what he's saying? Is he just animated? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've never played with him, obviously, but I would go out and say I don't think he's a good teammate. I think he had problems in Minnesota. He had problems in Buffalo. He's having problems, it sounds like, with that Houston team. At what point is it no longer a coincidence? He's kind of been a headache everywhere he goes. Extremely talented receiver, one of the better in the NFL, obviously, and his paycheck shows it. But how much can you put up with? Obviously, Josh Allen, I think he was quoted saying he doesn't necessarily miss Stephon Diggs.
Right.
Because having a bad teammate, they're contagious and they're hard. And when you're taken away from your mental focus to play the game and you're wasting your mental capacity on trying to get a bad teammate to lock back into the game, it's stressful. And it shifts your focus from what really matters. And I think that when Minnesota lost Stephon Diggs, a lot of people thought that they wouldn't have a great receiving core. Well, they went and drafted Justin Jefferson, and that worked out just fine.
And he's a great teammate.
Buffalo lost him.
Yeah.
We can't really say how that's going to go so far, but yeah, if he's already causing headaches and it's week 2 of preseason, they've had mini camp and 2 weeks of preseason games. It's hard to say that he's not going to do that through 17 weeks of a stressful NFL season for a team that has high expectations.
Yeah, no, I agree. I honestly think he is not, I compare him a lot to Antonio Brown. And I say this because AB wanted the accolades. He really didn't want to win a championship. But I think, Diggs has talked about saying, he wants to win. But I think all of his antics on the sidelines is he wants the ball. He thinks they should throw him the ball every single time. And you guys know this, like, especially at the professional level. Sure, your running back, your receivers, you love to give them the ball every single time, but that's not strategy. It's not feasible. Like, the guy, to me, as a teammate, like, obviously it hasn't worked out. And I don't think anybody really misses him, because they're just tired of his antics and the way he is as a teammate. And if you're in, like you said, Tucker, week 2 and you're, rookie quarterback, Stroud had a great year last year as a rookie. He's a top 10 quarterback last year. And Stroud, he was playing it like a veteran, like, okay, hey, and, Diggs is doing his rant to him. It's like, dude, this is the preseason. And it's like, yeah, how are you not going to say that he's not going to do that for the duration of his time there? He's already proven that that's what happens. And he's had Josh Allen, a top 10 quarterback, speak out and basically say, I don't miss you. Like, yeah, I might miss you were a good player, but there's a lot more behind the scenes. So I think it's more if he wants the accolades. I don't know how much a lot of these guys anymore really care about winning. There's some guys that really want to win, but there's some guys that show they don't really want to win. They just want the stats and the accolades. But that's just my opinion, obviously.
Yeah. So, how long has Stephon Diggs been in the league? Like 8 years?
Going on 9. Year 10. Yeah.
Year 10. Okay. And he's already on his 3rd team, So, that and as good of a player as he is, that's kind of a red flag to me. If you're that good and teams still don't want to keep you, or they trade you away or what have you. But that always kind of brings attention to it as well. But it's certainly a bad look when you're on the sideline frantically yelling at your quarterback. And again, like Tuck said, obviously we're not around him, so we really don't know if he's a bad teammate. He certainly looks like one. And again, some people are just more animated when they talk, but I don't really think this is it. But I'll go into an example of what happened in practice this past week. So I've been adding a lot of like competition type stuff in practice, more than we've really ever done in the first week. And I'm not telling the team like when I'm going to do it. So it's just going to kind of happen. And it's at different points of the practices each day. So they can't predict it's going to happen. So anyway, we did like a red zone thing. So offense has the ball. They have the ball at the 3. They have to score in one play. And then if they don't score, they got to do 5 up downs and then move it back. They get 2 plays from the 10. They got to score in 2 plays, 3 plays from the 15, got to score in 3, 4 plays from the 20, got to score in those 4 plays type thing. Just competition. If defense stops them, offense has to do up downs. So I think it was the second day of practice we did this, and we have a young team. So I wanted to see, I knew that, we probably might not have scored. I was hoping we would score every time, right? Or not have to do the up downs, but we did not have a good session. And once we got to like the 20-yard, the 4 plays from the 20, we got sacked. And then everyone kind of started chirping at each other, like telling everybody else what they're doing wrong instead of like picking teammates up and all that kind of stuff. So the session ends. I send everyone else to get a drink. I just bring the offense in. And I'm just like, look, I wanted to do this to see how you guys would respond. I knew there was a chance that we weren't going to score every time we needed to score. And when things were going bad, I wanted to see how we responded as a young team. And I just go, and the way we responded was shitty. We're yelling at each other. We're not picking each other up. You guys are blaming other people for other things, and just kind of got on them a little bit. I said some more words than that, but got on them a little bit about how they were reacting to not doing well, And in a game of football, I mean, not every play is going to be a positive play. You got to be able to bounce back from a negative play. You got to be able to bounce back from a bad drive, or a bad series or anything like that. So the next couple of days we did that. We got better. We're picking each other up. Even some kids are like catching themselves saying things they shouldn't say. And they're like, oh, no, yeah, we get the next one. You got to, you just need to, watch that cross stunt there next time, or, something like that, instead of like, pick that up. Why are you not picking that blitz up? Just screaming at them, like running backs, like, no one's blocking, I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that shit. Like, stop it. So that's just kind of how I handled it. I kind of let it happen and then addressed it. And it's like, that's not how we do this. So, and you're going to have that with high school kids. They're going to get on each other sometimes. And you just want to make sure that it's done properly, and not putting guys down or yelling at each other the wrong way type thing. So I don't know. I guess that was my situation.
Yeah. To your point, I'd say, especially with football, it's not if things are going to go wrong, it's when things are going to go wrong. Yeah. You're going to face adversity, especially in a high school football game. Mistakes are going to happen. And you got to be able to not only just compete every play, but also be able to hold each other accountable in the right way. I think, especially on the football field, you should be able to get on a teammate, but you can do that in the right way.
Yeah.
You don't have to single out a teammate, make him feel bad for the mistake he did, but there's definitely learning curves. And I mean, there's been times people have gotten on me, and that's good. That's allowed. Sometimes the best way to correct a mistake is with tough love, and they got to get that through to you. So there's definitely ways to go about doing it tougher like that. But the goal should be to make sure that you never really make your teammate question their ability. I think once people start questioning their abilities through stuff like that, that's when things really start going wrong, and they snowball.
Yep.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm with you on it. Yeah, I would say that, like you said, the appropriate way of, just pull them off to the side at the end of the session, and talk to them one-on-one, as like you said, because I remember that in high school, man, we had a lot of that. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, we had a really good running back who was first team All-State and played Division I. Like, there was a lot of, and then we had Ben Boothby, who was, a Division I athlete, first team All-State. And, there was a lot of that, calling each other out in front of everybody. And like you said, I think it kind of demoralizes like the rapport. And then everybody else sees that and they're like, man, these guys are supposed to be the leaders, and they're, doing this stuff in front of everybody. So I'm with you on that. I think you really have to, like, it's okay to call them out, but you got to do it the right way. Would you want your boss at work to call you out like Coach Coit, as a teacher in front of your entire, faculty at a meeting? I mean, you'd be kind of embarrassed if, you did something as a teacher. You would hope they would be smart enough to pull you aside and be like, hey, we got to fix this, instead of just calling you out in front of everybody. I mean,
everybody knows when they mess up, so
sure.
Like a lineman knows, like, oh, I missed that block, or
sure,
a receiver drops a pass. Like, obviously they're not trying to do that. So, and then when a teammate is like, why didn't you block that guy? You got to pick that up or catch the ball. Like, then yeah, he knows, but you don't want to make it worse. Like Tuck was saying, like, just like, hey, you got flushed out, get the next one, or, something like that. Like, I mean, or like maybe tell them like, hey, I think you did this wrong. Maybe try this next time, like a coach would do, kind of thing. So, I don't know. That's just kind of how like I approach things with that. And I've been lucky. We really haven't had much of that, in my time as head coach. There has been some. My first year or two, it was some of that, but we also weren't very good though either. So when you're not winning, that's going to happen a little more, I think, when you're winning and things are going well, then I think that's also when people are better teammates too, and that's not always, a good thing. You want to be obviously a good teammate when you're losing too, but yeah, the winning part of it certainly helps with all that as well. So, but yeah, you guys make good points there.
Ben Irwin said,
well,
go ahead.
I was, you want to read it, or you want me to?
I'll read it. Yeah. Cause
Ben still,
I don't think baseball will move. I think this move just forces football coaches to be as flexible as what baseball coaches have been in years past.
Well, so technically all coaches should be flexible, right? But
He would say that though.
yeah. So, I mean, it's tough for a baseball coach because, obviously, like there's weight room in the summer. Football, we're doing stuff in the summer. Basketball is doing stuff in summer, and they're also they're playing their season at the same time. So, they obviously, yes, have to be flexible and I mean, I always try to work around baseball as best I can. We actually cut back a little bit this past year on how much we do out on the field. I used to always do like 2 days a week after weight room. We'd go out and do something for about an hour. Now we like cut back to only 1 day a week kind of thing. So, I'm working and changing a little bit to that too. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be. Yeah, and like Ben said, that's why Camanche great because coaches all work together, and that's true. Yeah, you gotta. That's what is successful schools. They work together and they have good programs, and it helps. I was just talking to Lynn Skipper at a wedding last night, and we were talking about Lena Winslow. They're powerhouse in Illinois in football. They're winning state championships every year, and he was saying that every football coach is a head coach of a different sport at that school. So their head basketball coaches on staff, their head wrestling coaches on staff, their head track coaches on staff, their head baseball coaches on staff. So like all those coaches are on the same staff. So they're all like, obviously bought into the weight room. They're all working together in their other seasons, and success breeds success, So that's kind of what's happening there. So yeah, you got to obviously work together and go that route. But that's a good point, Ben. I'm with you. Next topic. Do you want to go White Sox, or you just want to skip to the Steelers, Bears, and Packers?
Yeah, that's depressing, the White Sox.
Yeah, we were going to talk about how bad the White Sox were, but geez.
They're going to relocate anyways.
Nashville. Here we go.
That's where it's going.
All right, Tuck, we'll start with you. Let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. How excited are you about the upcoming season with the Packers? You probably think they're going to finish second in the NFC North to the Bears, but let me get your thoughts on what you're going there.
I think this is the most excited I've been for NFL football in a long time, probably dating back to like younger Rodgers years, just because towards the end of his career, sometimes he was a little bit hard to see if he was all in or a little bit out on things. So, definitely a young team. They finished well last year. They turned things around. I will probably refrain from saying anything about the Bears just because, Coit, you're obviously a big Bears fan. Don't want to say anything that may come back to me. And I see Michael Delzell with the comment, another huge Bears fan right there. So we usually get together and watch those games. But as far as just the Packers in general go, they got a new defensive coordinator that I think can really mix some things up. They got the talent over there. I think they start 9 first-round picks, and their defense has been incredibly subpar for that number right there. So I think that if they can maybe get those things around, Love is still young. He's going to still have some things that he needs to figure out with this only being his second year starting. But with the way he kind of turned that team around last year with those young receivers, they picked up Josh Jacobs. I love what LaFleur has done as far as offense schematics, kind of runs that Shanahan-McVay coaching tree, that offense. I think that they have some serious talent, and I will probably go ahead and refrain from saying how far I think that they're going to go because I don't want to be a homer. And I'll say that I think that they should be in the playoffs, and what happens after that is anybody's guess because it's NFL football and every single player on the field is a great player. The Packers are going to win the Super Bowl, and that's where we'll go from there. So you guys are up now.
Did you just say they are going to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I kind of just added that at the end.
All right. Jeez.
You gave us your prediction. That's all I really wanted.
I was just being too, I needed to be honest with myself. If I go to bed tonight thinking that they're not going to win the Super Bowl, what kind of fan am I?
True.
No, you're right. You wouldn't be a true fan if you don't believe that your squad is going to make a big push. I mean, you might as well don't even say you're a true fan.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I like what I saw last year. And if everyone's getting older and more experienced, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I think that they have the talent to make a run. And what happens from there, like I said, it's anybody's guess. And that's why professional football is so much fun.
Well, I'm with you. Before, Coy, you go about the Bears, I just want to add with the Packers. I think if you look at them offensively, their offensive line, they rebuilt that. They've got a great offensive line. Love is mobile. He's great on the run. I think he makes great decisions. And the fact that you have that, was it Reed?
Yep, Jaden Reed in the slot.
Reed, and then, Watson and Daubs or whatever.
Yep.
Dude, they've got a core. I mean, I think, and then you put in Jacobs. Yeah. Last year when they played the Cowboys in that division, was it the divisional game?
Yeah, it was wild card.
Or wild card.
They killed him.
That was kind of like, to me, I was like, dude, if you can't tell me that, that they can't, make a push in the long run for longevity. I do agree with you on the defense. I think they're kind of subpar there. Yeah. But you know what? It's an offensive league now. It's passing and it's scoring. So they've got all the tangibles. It's just going to be keeping, number one, Love healthy and make sure the offensive line. But man, dude, I watched him last year, a couple of games, and I thought, dude, they're going to be pretty tough. I think they'll even be tough for Caleb Williams, the Bears.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bears.
Let's talk about the old Bears.
Yeah, so I've been watching Hard Knocks, getting all excited about the Bears. Was over with Mitch Phillips watching the preseason game yesterday afternoon. At first, I was kind of skeptical on the whole Caleb Williams, is he really the dude? Is this going to work out? Started off a little slow yesterday. The first two drives weren't great. Overthrew some throws and missed some reads, but he turned it on there. The last, I think he ended up getting 5 drives. He played the first half, but the throws that he is making, on the run, he made that threw a dot to Adunze. Adunze was standing out of bounds. If he knew where he was, it would have been a touchdown. Then he was rolling left and threw about a 30-yarder in the air and stride to Adunze as well. Yeah, I like him. I think he's going to be pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say like Tucker that the Bears are going to win the Super Bowl, because I think they're maybe a couple years away from that. But of making a run like that, I should say, not maybe to winning the Super Bowl, but their offense is loaded. I'm just going to leave it at that. If Caleb Williams has 3 really good receivers, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, I think Rome Odunze is going to be a stud. DeAndre Swift in the backfield is a solid running back. Khalil Herbert can play. Johnson kid can run. Their offensive line is getting better. So I think their offense is definitely pretty good. And then their defense was, the last 10 games of the season, was a top 10 rated defense. So they got a lot of those guys coming back too. So I'm super excited about the Bears season. Probably the most excited I've been in a while about the Bears, to be honest with you. I'm just praying. I know Caleb Williams has got some things to him, but I don't care what he does off the field, as long as he throws 4,000 yards and 30 TDs. We'll be good to go. But I'm very excited about the season. Like Corey Snodgrass said, though, the division's tough.
Yeah.
Packers,
the Lions in there still.
Lions are going to be good. So it's it is going to come down to that. The division wins and some non-divisional games too. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get that rolling. Hopefully they all stay healthy and the Bears are rolling.
You know what I'm going to say? All I'm going to say about I believe it when I see it, because they've went so long where they just, and again, here's the thing. It's preseason though for Caleb Williams. He had that like great throw that he escaped the pocket. He had the one where he ran it in.
Yeah.
That one, nice too. Yeah. He made some great throws. It's hard to get behind, even, and I've watched all their games, but it's like, you've seen like how it's gone for the last however many years. So I think it's more of like, once I see that Caleb Williams consistently can play at the high level against the number ones all year round. Okay. Yeah. But I'm just going to say, I hope it works out for you guys. But I think it's really, there's a big hype about him, and he hasn't even played.
He's the number 1 draft pick, man. There's always hype.
I don't hope it works out. How about that answer? I'll just
hope it does.
I don't want Williams to be good. Kind of
Sure.
Oh yeah.
that people will tell you, like, no, come on, we want, everyone should want him to be good, make the division games tighter. No, thank you. No, thank you. I want the Packers to not have to worry about the Bears having a good quarterback. And I think that Williams has the potential to be a good quarterback.
Sure.
And the best part about it being the preseason, if he does bad, hey, it's a preseason game. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
If he does good, we're Super Bowl champs. So it's preseason the best time to be an NFL fan, especially if you got a rookie quarterback or a new starter. So, yeah, Coit, I like your enthusiasm. I'm excited to see how it ages just from my 20 years on the planet. I'm lucky enough to have seen a lot of Bears teams that had – a lot of Bears fans that had similar enthusiasm as far as Fields. My buddy Mike told me that Fields was probably going to be MVP last year.
Yeah.
Oof, that's a tough take.
Yeah, the takes are fun.
I've never thought that.
Make those takes because that's what makes being a fan of a sport fun.
Sure.
Be able to believe things that aren't really believable, and you should be able to say things that aren't probably going to happen. But if they do happen, everyone thinks you're a genius.
Yeah.
You know ball, and that's the fun part about being a sports fan.
I agree. Man, I like it.
All right, Stenda, before you get on your Steelers kick here, are you gonna have a quarterback that can get you guys to score a touchdown, or what are you thinking here?
Well, here's the thing. I think when you have Russ Wilson and Justin Fields and they both play the entire game and you score 3 points, you got to be really nervous.
Yeah.
You know what? This is all I'm going to say. I really do believe that as much as I've kind of the last couple of years maybe questioned Mike Tomlin, he won 10 games last year, okay, with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. Where are they at now? Backup quarterbacks, probably never going to start again in the NFL. They're going to win 10 games, and they'll be a wild card at least. They may surprise. I mean, it is the preseason, like you said, Tucker, and I agree with that. Like, hey, you know what? It's a new system for Russ. It's definitely a new system for Justin Fields. I just think with the culture there that no matter what, Tomlin will pull something out of his ass and Pitt will be in the playoffs. Are they going to make a big push? They could. They have the skill players. They have the running backs. They drafted offensive line, which they needed. They've got the defensive guys. I think, just by the standard or longevity, Pitt hasn't had a losing season in like 20 years, So I think Russ Wilson and Justin Fields are better than Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. I think we can all agree with that. So I think at the end of the day, they're just one of those teams like nobody wants to play them at the end of the season when it matters because what they do last year, beat the Seahawks, beat the Ravens. So the quarterback position, they're obviously going to have to do something with that long term. They did a bad job drafting with Kenny Pickett. I think because they just felt like they had to take a quarterback because who's going to succeed? Ben Roethlisberger. But they made that pick. They have to live with it and move on. They've got 2 guys that I think that are capable, but I would say at the end of the year, they'll be 10-7 at least, Yeah. It's going to be hard. It's just the way it is. I mean, I've watched them for 30 years and they always start off slow. And then what happens, like, week 12, 13, 14, no one wants to play them. And then they go on a run and they're in the playoffs. So time's going to tell.
It's hard for me to doubt the Steelers just because you see what they do every year with the minimal offensive talent they've had since Ben. I would also, devil's advocate, would say that Joe Burrow in that division and Lamar in that division makes for a really rough division. But I've seen the Steelers do it with those guys healthy before. So I wouldn't write them off. Definitely just have seen enough to say that I am not going to say I'm all out on the Steelers. I think your prediction was probably pretty correct as far as they always just find a way to win games that they shouldn't win.
Yes.
And sometimes they find a way to lose some games that they should win.
They should win.
But when you win more than you lose, winning cures all, and Tomlin will stay as long as he keeps winning. And if they can squeak into the playoffs, I think you're right. Nobody wants to play that the ground and pound type of football, especially in December when you're hitting guys and it's cold, or January, and those hits, they hurt way more than they do in August and September.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah.
Love it. NFL season soon, man. About to start. Can't wait.
I'm doing some betting. You guys going to do some betting this year?
I don't bet on anything.
I'm getting back into it.
Are you?
I don't even want to tell you what I lost 2 years. I stopped 2 years ago because it exceeded $1,000, and I figured out how much I lost, and I was like, man, dude, like I was like, I'm taking a year off, but I'm like, dude, this year I got to get back into it.
So you weren't really betting. It sounds like you were losing.
Oh, dude, it was bad. Well, I'm an idiot. I'm a sucker because, I look at, I'm a big guy like, oh, he's going to throw, for 260 and above, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, like I take a lot of the Steelers players because I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm like, dude, I wouldn't bet on him. And then next week he'd do really well. Deontay Johnson screwed me a bunch of times. But it's so addicting. It's like, at the end of the year, I'm like, dude, I'm getting back in this. So now I'm like, I got my account going. I'm ready to start throwing my salary away. I don't care.
DraftKings was so excited to see JP Sten to sign back up this season.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we just give us how much are you gonna bet? $5,000? We'll just take it now. Okay.
You're the sportsbook's favorite guy. They're gonna send you a couple of free bets, maybe. Excited to have you back.
Yeah. So don't gamble. Yeah, it's not smart.
Well, yeah, like my neighbor Steve Clements, he I think he put $5 on a Chiefs Bears Super Bowl last night.
Oh,
I don't know what it pay out like $350 or something, but we were watching the fights in his garage last night. And I think he was making bets on how many strikes the one fighter was going to have. I'm like what? I don't know. I just don't. I like listening to people talk about their bets, but I don't do them. So
I don't blame you.
But yeah. So I don't lose $5,000 like Houston to.
Oh, I didn't lose 5, but it was, it was enough. It was enough where I'm like, damn, man, I could have
just a couple of months rent or what.
I mean, well, when you're a single guy and you bank, I ain't got no debt. It's like, well, yeah, you just like, you spend your money. Like, I don't look at my bank account until one day I look and I'm like, damn, dude, like, $2,000 gone. Like, what?
Hindsight's funny, but think of the memories you made along the way. You can't get that $1,000 back, but you can talk about it on a podcast how you're not very good at betting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm with you on that, man. Yeah.
All right, Tuck. I got a couple questions for you. I had a list of a lot more, but we're getting to almost an hour here, so I'm only going to ask you a couple. So the first question I have for you. So, I've seen a lot of high school kids go play college sports, over the time as a coach, and whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever. And so like when you went to Grandview, okay, as a freshman, you really didn't see the field much at all, correct? Like you didn't play much, you didn't really play special teams. And you're out there just like grinding every day, going through the practices, the film, the weight room, all that stuff. And football's a tough sport. All sports are tough. But what would you tell somebody that now that you've gone through it and now you're going into your junior year, you're number 2 on the depth chart at safety, probably going to see some special teams time this year on a really good football team. What would you tell that kid that after their freshman year who's like, I can't do this anymore, just not for me, because coming out of high school, that kid like you started in the sports you played, you were one of the better athletes on the team, or one of the better players on the team. This kid probably also is the same boat. What would you tell a kid to not get discouraged or not stop playing it because of that?
Yeah, so thing number one is, when you sign up to play a collegiate sport, everyone you're playing with, they were an excellent high school player at whatever sport they choose to continue at. Football specifically, football is hard. The sport is hard. And I think that's Tom Brady said, football is hard. I think everyone should play it. Because if you can get through football, you can get through anything. And that's kind of the way I've looked at it, is like if I can get through 4 years of a collegiate sport, and I'm putting hours in when no one's really even watching, or maybe it's not paying off. Going into my freshman year summer, I'm at home. I was running on the field every day. And did it pay off at the time? No, because I didn't really play, at freshman year here. But just because it can't be seen doesn't mean it didn't completely pay off as far as that goes, because, I think that sometimes when you commit to something, you should finish it. And I believe that if I can get through 4 years of college football and I can finish it and I can work hard every day and I can continue to show up, and give my all, I think there won't be a challenge in life that I come across that I have to stop my feet and turn around from. I think that there's anything, if I can get through these 4 years, that I can face head on and I can get right through it. Because there's been times, you sign up to play the sport. Things don't go your way. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And there's been a plethora of times where I've been laying in bed like, man, this is what I signed up for. I chose to do 4 more years of this, because things get hard. But once you get through those, when you continue to wake up every day, you continue to put your shoes on, you continue to go do the work, it pays off. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm excited. I've done everything that I did throughout the way. I believe it's paying off. And maybe it won't show this year. Maybe it'll show next. Maybe it'll show this year. Maybe it won't show at the beginning of the year. It'll show in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe I never play a complete competitive season here at Grandview as a starter. Maybe I'm only ever on special teams. If I could help the team win, and I believe that I did everything it took to get out there, there's nothing I can hang my head about. If I didn't leave any regrets and I went as hard as I can every step of the way and I did what was hard, I'm happy with the way things ended up. So I would just tell the kid, it's going to be hard, and there's going to be nights where you question why you're doing what you're doing. But if you have a reason in the back of your head, I think that anybody can get through it. And sometimes people run into things like injuries, and it derails them. It derails them from their goal. Maybe some people want to have a goal of playing a professional sport. Mine isn't. I just want to come play 4 years of a competitive sport and have fun while doing it. Injuries happen. If you can still continue to, rehab and get through those, I think that you can really do anything. So that's why I chose to come play here. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew I was going to have to earn everything I got. And if I was able to do that, I'd be happy with where I'm at. And like I said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be, doing what I'm doing. So no regrets out of me.
Sounds like you're a few steps ahead of everybody else in your age bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can always talk a good game. No, but he follows through with it though. That was a great response. I kind of want to we should try to clip that and put it online and maybe go viral or something with some college athletes there. But you brought up a lot of really good points, and I know a lot of people are Mike Dozell got chills from that, but
thanks, Mike.
Zach, motivational speaker, but Corey Snodgrass said mindset's everything, and what you just explained was exactly that, your positive mindset, and that instead of getting discouraged that you're not playing. I mean, of course everyone wants to be on the field, right? But you're just still grinding and waiting your turn, and that's hard for a lot of people to do, especially when they come in from high school being a top athlete, so kudos for you for doing what you're doing and keep grinding, man, and doing your thing. It's awesome to follow, and I'm glad I've been able to follow it, and I've been able to say that I coached you in high school. So good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Stenda, would you add anything to that?
I just think honestly what I got from all that is you're going to have no problems, when you get, you go get a job, you graduate college, you're locked in, what you have to do. I mean, because what do sports do? They like you said, you talked earlier about adversity. You have to deal with teammates that maybe you don't get along with or like very much. It's all about adversity. It's so easy when people are winning, right? When everything's going good, it's easy. Life's good for everybody, for everyone. But when it is, when things get tough, it really measures, how tough you really are mentally and physically. I mean, I just got from that obviously you've already got shit figured out, man. I mean, you just keep doing what you're doing and the sky's going to be the limit for you. And that's like Coach Coit said, that's hard for a lot of kids because everybody wants to have it right now. And they don't know what it really takes to get there. I wish I would have known at your age, 20, that age, if I would have known, I had a different mindset. Now I look back, I'm like, shit, if I would have done things differently, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. But sounds like you're on the right path. I think you keep doing what you're doing. I mean, like I said, the sky's the limit, and you're going to be able to do whatever is thrown in front of you, especially adversity wise.
Yeah, I could tell you right now that if I was to come in here and play as a freshman, like everyone hopes to, when they choose to play a college sport, I wouldn't be who I am today. Just based off of high school sports, I was lucky enough I never really had to wait, sit on the sidelines through long tenures of time. I never had to, and everyone says that they're okay to go sit on the sideline and learn, and it'll be fine, but until you're actually doing it, it's a completely different thing, right? So, a lot of kids, you ask them when you're looking to commit to a college, well, are you okay to go sit on the sideline for 2 years, and learn the defense or learn the offense, and, make sure you have everything you need to have before you become a starter or like a key part of the team. And a lot of people will tell you, yeah, I am. But until you're going and doing it every day and it's December, your team made the playoffs and you're practicing and it's 10 degrees outside and you're a scout team guy, that's what you don't think of when you're committing to a school. But that's the things that's going to help you way more than, coming in as a freshman, and playing all the time. So, yeah, I wish that I would have came in and been able to do that. But in hindsight, I wouldn't change it.
Sure. Yeah.
Would you say that's probably like the biggest difference between like high school sports and college sports? Just that part of it, like you're going into a new system, learning everything. You're not the best player anymore, type thing. That's what I see in it a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think everybody tells you, you got to find your role, whatever team you're on. People start telling you that once you're, playing flag football. What's your role? How can you best help the team? But in college, your role is going to be much different than it was in high school for the majority. I would love to go be the star player, and obviously everyone would. But maybe sometimes all you need to do is go run down on kickoff. And if you're going to have a fun time while doing that, it makes it worth it. I had a blast last year running down on kickoff.
Sure.
It's what you make out of it. So yeah, I think the biggest part would be you got to learn the stuff first. You can't just show up and you go out there like high school. High school is a lot of instincts. High school football was a lot just based off of natural ability and stuff. Now there's systems, and you got to find how you fit into the team. And like you guys said, everyone's talented. So yeah, I would agree that's probably the biggest difference.
Heck yeah. Grandview going to a natty this year, or you don't want to predict that?
Oh, that's definitely the goal. That's probably what I'll say on that. I think everyone here's pretty committed to making that a reality. It's been since 2021 that we've been. My freshman year, we lost semis. Last year, we fell in the quarter. So, yeah, I think we like what we got, and we're gonna have to just take it week by week. I guess is probably the cliche answer, but you got to keep
Bill Belichick over there.
College football, you got to keep guys healthy.
Yeah,
you can't go through the entire season with no one getting banged up. So you want to keep guys healthy. You want to play every week, and hopefully in December 20th or December 21st, we're playing in the title game, whenever it is this year. So we'll see.
Heck yeah. You'll be St. Ambrose October 20 something, right? I think it was.
Yep. We're going to
nice.
Davenport in October.
Nice.
For them for the first time, and I think about 10 years-ish, so that should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to following Grandview along, man.
Is that they play on Brady Street?
No, they got that new field that Assumption shares with them.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't even know that.
Facility, I believe, is where they play those games.
Okay.
So for some of our Davenport kids, it'll be a home game. I'm gonna go treat it like a home game. Short ride for my mom and dad.
Heck yeah. They might get the bus out for that.
Yeah, they should get the bus out. Maybe you should vote it down. Go get some tailgating.
I'll have to talk to Pat. Some tailgating maybe for that. Sounds good. I'm sure since it's on Assumption grounds, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
Catholic schools, right?
Maybe it's
ask your buddy. Ask the Argo kid.
Yeah. Maybe John Argo can leave a comment if parents are allowed to pregame in the Assumption parking lot.
Worst they can do is tell us no, I guess, and show up and see what happens.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So, Stendo, you want to get into rapid fire here before tier talk?
Oh, yeah. You want to do? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do it. So, do you want me to ask Tuck his first, or how do you want to roll it?
I'll hit you first
with
your list, and then you finish off with Tuck.
Yep. All right, I'm ready.
All right. Rapid fire.
Well, should we tell Tuck how it works first?
Yeah.
Or do you know how it works, Tuck?
It seems pretty self-explanatory. I feel like you're going to rapid fire some questions at me. I'm going to rapid answer some questions to you.
Well, we're gonna give you 2 names of players. You got to pick which one you think's better, basically.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Let's do it.
So Sina's gonna ask me first, then I'm gonna ask you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Luke Longley or Bill Winnington?
Longley.
Rod Beck or Antonio Alfonseca?
Jeez. I'm going Rod Beck.
Matt Clement or John Lackey?
Ooh. I'll go Lackey.
Dennis Rodman, Horace Grant?
Rodman.
All right. Last one. Big League Chew or Red Man Chew?
Big League Chew.
Oh, okay. All right. So you took Longley.
Heck yeah.
Lukester.
He was. Bill Winnington was more of like a role player.
Sure.
Luke Longley started on the later '90s Bulls teams that was making the run. He was like the best player out of Australia, and then the Bulls signed him, and then they signed Kukoc, who was the best player out of Croatia. So Longley for sure on that one.
I'm gonna this. You got to tell me why Rod Beck over Alfonseca.
Well, I was thinking about that one, and Alfonseca's stats are probably better. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what their stats are off the top of my head. But I remember Alfonseca like blowing more games, more saves than Rod Beck for some reason. I don't know if that's true, but just to me in my mind, it felt like that. And how can you how can you go against the mustache and the mullet that Rod Beck had? Can't beat that.
Dude looked like he was like 60 when he was like 28.
Yes, I know.
Looked like
Yeah.
they say he looked like a bricklayer when he was playing
Yeah.
for the
Oh
Cubs.
yeah. Yeah. That's why I went back. I mean, I don't know their stats off the top of my head though.
You took Lackey over Matt Clement.
Yeah. Very similar pitchers, probably winning record wise and all that. But I like Lackey. He was on that 2016 team. I know he didn't really pitch much in the playoffs that year, but I just liked he was just like no nonsense, like just a gamer, like get pissed if he walked a guy. Kind of, I loved watching him pitch, and that's why I went with him.
He could throw.
Yeah.
I know why you took Robin. I mean, Robin over Horace Grant.
Hard to go against Rodman.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
He's the best rebounder ever. Great defensive player.
Yeah.
Just fun to watch. He'd always do something silly.
We need another guy like him.
For sure.
I threw that in there. Big League Chew or Red Man. I just want to see if you ever did Red Man Chew.
I never did Red Man Chew.
Yeah.
That's why I took Big League Chew. It's funny. I just got him some Big League Chew probably like a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And he had some of that. So it loses its flavor fast still, but it's good stuff.
Still worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I got
every kid should have some Big League Chew here and there,
Yeah, and they should put too much into their mouth that they can't all fit it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of coming out of your lips too. That's kind of the main point of Big League Chew, I think. I think you should always exceed the limits. Have the best 30 seconds of your life until it's out.
I agree.
And then you just get another pack after that.
Well, I say that what I used to do with it is I would take the Red Man Chew and I would take the Big League Chew and chew up the Big League Chew and then wrap it around the Red Man.
Really?
Yes, I did. I still do Red Man from time to time. I'll still do it, especially at work. I won't do the Big League Chew, but yeah, a guy taught me that once. He's like, dude, just wrap it up, chew it up. And I wrapped it. I was like, wow, this is great. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Interesting. I'm probably never going to try that, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's not a good habit start anyway. So,
all right, Tuck, you ready?
Right. Yep, let's do it.
So I went. So Tucker's a Wisconsin football, all Wisconsin guy. Wisconsin basketball, football, Brewers. Obviously, we talked about the Packers, so this is pretty heavy Wisconsin stuff here. So my first one.
All right.
Frank Kaminsky or Sam Decker?
Sam Decker.
Oh, okay. Donald Driver or Jordy Nelson?
Jordy Nelson.
Oh. Monte Ball or Jonathan Taylor?
Monty Ball.
wow.
These are shockers. Ryan Braun or Christian Yelich?
Braun.
And lastly, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre?
I watched more. I'm going Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
He was the majority of my fandom.
All right. So let's recap this here.
Let's do it.
You went Sam Decker over Frank Kaminsky, huh?
Yeah, I did. Sam
Why?
Decker was just like, I think he was a 5-star out of high school. He was a Wisconsin kid. Wasn't the average Wisconsin basketball recruit. He was more exciting probably than Frank the Tank. Just a high flyer, could get above the rim, and he just made so many memorable shots down the road in those 2 Final Four years. He hit the dagger against Arizona. He hit a step back against Kentucky when they were 48-0 and
38.
38-0. Yep, thank you. So yeah, I probably just had more freakouts because of Sam Decker. You'd get the occasional putback dunk, and I was like, "Well, maybe I can do that one day." Not the case.
Still can't. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of why I went with him.
Did you see Zach's comment? Kid's a Sam Decker Glazer.
Yeah, I actually see a lot of Decker in Zach's game. I'm looking to see him bring that out next season. So
I could see that. Yeah.
Let's get
all right.
Yeah.
Next one was Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, so I went with Jordy. Donald Driver I had a Driver jersey growing up. He was probably my first favorite receiver, but just as a receiver and myself, I just thought what Jordy continuously did was unbelievable. It never made sense why people couldn't guard him because he wasn't the fastest guy, didn't run the nastiest routes, but man, that guy could find the zone, and he always got open. And Rodgers always had him when he needed him. They ran this nasty, this corner post on a fake boot or a bootleg play action. That was whenever they needed it. I thought those two always connected on it, and I just loved watching Jordy just stroll into the end zone. So I went with him.
Both good receivers.
Yeah. I did some stats, and Jordy Nelson had 72 receiving touchdowns. The Packers. I was kind of shocked by that. I didn't think he had that many. All right, then we went Monte Ball and Jonathan Taylor. He took Monte Ball.
Yeah, that was Monte Ball is the reason I wanted to always wear 28 growing up. He was just fun, flashy, fast. He could jump. I think he set the rushing record. He was second when I watched him. He was on that Russell Wilson Rose Bowl team, and he was from Missouri. I got family down in Missouri. I was just like that connection. And, man, he was just fun to watch. That Monte Ball, those teams, they had Monte Ball as a starter, Melvin Gordon, if you remember that name.
Oh, yeah.
Backup. Corey Clement, Super Bowl champ with Philadelphia, backup. James White, Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, backup. So those Wisconsin teams just had – it was unbelievable. They just had running backs that you just didn't know what to do with them. They were running jet sweeps that you'd run to a receiver that they would just give to James White, who was their third string, who went on to win 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots or whatever. So, yeah, I just loved watching Monte Ball, and then that led to, I think, all the good ones that went down the line that I just named.
Yeah. Man, because, Monte Ball has the second most career rushing touchdowns in NCAA history.
Yeah.
But I was shocked he didn't take Jonathan Taylor.
Taylor would probably be the best college running back ever, yards-wise, if he would have played his 4th year.
Yeah,
he was a freaking stud.
Yeah.
He had over 6,000 rushing yards in 3 years.
Yeah, I think he's second right now all-time rushing yards, and like I said, he didn't play that senior year. I think that record probably would have been untouchable if he would have had a full senior season.
Well, yeah, and I looked up some stats. He had 12 200-plus rushing yard games in his career. It's insane.
He wore a sweet Louis Vuitton mouthpiece, too. I remember always wanting one of them for myself. You ever look up the price tag of those? I no longer wanted one of them for myself. Can't get behind asking my mom for a mouth guard, but it costs that much money. So,
well, you don't get any NIL money at Grandview?
I know you'd probably think so, but not yet. Yeah.
All right. Maybe next year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Then we had Braun and Yelich. You took Braun.
Yeah, I mean Ryan Braun just before his steroid stint, he just had some clutch moments with the Brewers. I just loved watching him, and obviously Yelich is great too. But I kind of went with all the nostalgic picks, all the guys that kind of brought me back to my childhood. So, yeah,
Understand.
I went with Braun.
Yeah, I agree with Braun. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, you went Rodgers.
Yeah, I did. I think he's the best thrower of the football ever, like talent wise.
Ever.
I'm not saying he's the best quarterback ever. I think just some of his throws. If you ever get bored and in your office, coach, maybe top 10 Aaron Rodgers throws and enter that into the YouTube box.
I'm never doing that. I'll tell you that right now.
But
Not your search history.
Favre was fun, man. But you knew you were gonna get some picks here and there too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's kind of what made it better, though. You were getting something.
I was going to bring up the picks. Favre threw 286 interceptions when he was at the Packers.
Hey,
And Rodgers threw 105.
Yeah.
And Rodgers played 2 more seasons than Favre with Green Bay, which is wild. But yeah, Rodgers is a very accurate thrower. I'll give you that. Always has been. But I will not be watching any top 10 Aaron Rodgers videos.
I said if you get bored, I left it open-ended.
Yeah, not happening.
Favre, he's such a gunslinger, though, man.
Oh, yeah.
Favre was, I mean, I watched the video. He was like breaking people's fingers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was
Antonio Freeman.
He was getting
Antonio Freeman would sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Antonio Freeman would always talk about how he'd always like break a finger or like jam his fingers from Favre's throws and practices.
Every throw that guy made, I never saw like even like checks down into the flats. He made him look so hard.
Oh yeah.
He never did the Rodgers and kind of what you see now with Love, like the back foot float it. That was not his thing. He was stepping up and stepping into it and getting that thing there as fast as he could.
Did you guys ever see that parody video of that actor? It was when that all the pictures of his private parts came out and they made like parody video and this guy's playing Brett Favre and he's like coaching high school football and he's like the quarterback throws it and he like completes it. He goes, Tommy, he goes, completions look way better when you throw them in triple coverage. Like just because that's what he would do. But I don't know who this Paul Peters guy is, but he's going nuts over here on the comments with you, Tuck. Can you see those?
I don't know him either, but he's having a good time.
Yeah, he's enjoying it. But anyway, good job on the rapid fire there, Tuck. I like your responses.
Nice.
Stenda, we gotta get into tier talk here.
Yep.
And then probably wrap it on up.
Yep.
So our tier talk is I like this category because I'm left-handed. Is top left-handed quarterbacks in the NFL in our era. So we have the top 3 left-handed quarterbacks. I think this list might be pretty similar, but we'll figure it out and go there. So who would like to start?
Whoever.
I'll go first.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
Oh, you're going first. All right, go ahead, Tuck.
Yeah. Michael Vick post jail.
Post jail
with the Falcons.
Okay.
Tim Tebow.
Oh.
See, you won a playoff game. A lot of guys can't say they did that. And Tua. Tagovailoa.
Wow.
Our eras are different.
Yeah, we do have different. I'm forgetting because the guys I have on here. Yeah, we're definitely different eras.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. I respect that. What would your word be for that list?
I'm gonna say I'm surprised.
I'm gonna say weak.
Oh wow!
You said my era. I don't have a plethora of options here.
Yeah, there's not a ton of them, but
well,
if Tim Tebow's in a top 3 quarterback list of any kind, that's a weak list. In my opinion.
I would also like to note that Coach Coit said that it was just top 3 quarterbacks. So I was thinking Tim Tebow, Heisman Trophy.
Oh, did I not say NFL?
Correct. BCS national champion Tim Tebow.
Okay. If we're going that route, but I'm not a Tebow guy, so weak.
That's
Same
true.
here.
That's kind of why I also wanted to mention him. I know that you are a Tebow hater, so I wanted to go with him as well. Another reason.
I don't like him
Right.
because he beat Pitt in that playoff game.
Yeah.
See, playoff game.
Yeah, dude. You knew he was. The problem was him coming out of where did he play at Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, you always had the question: could he ever take a snap under center? I think that everybody was always wondering that. I mean, they ran that shotgun spread, whatever. Like he never took the ball under center when he got in the NFL, dude. Come on. He was talk about a bust. He's actually a bust, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's a bust.
I mean,
Agreed.
nobody takes a snap under center. So maybe he was in the wrong era. Give him 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. Maybe if he's playing now, he's still playing because he never needs to get under there.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe now in this era, maybe it is different. But yeah, I was not a fan of him at all. College, look at all the people he played with. He played with Hernandez and who else was there?
Pouncey brothers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. They had a good. I think they have a documentary coming out, don't they?
It's out.
Is it out?
The Swamp Kings one, yeah.
Yeah.
They had some dudes on those teams.
I like it. I mean, it's interesting to see people's, like I said, different eras. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Stenda, you want to go or me?
Yeah, I'll flip it. You can end it. We're probably going to have the same. All right.
It
Now,
may be.
my old number 3 is going to be old Mark Brunell. You remember Mark?
Oh, yeah. I remember
Okay.
Mark Brunell.
I got stats here, okay? I'm throwing them out, Tuck. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Mark Brunell, 32,000 passing yards, $184 in the end zone, 15 rushing touchdowns, 8-6 in the playoffs. Notable players that he played with: Fred Taylor, who was a stud, and receivers, if I remember right, Jimmy Smith and Troy Edwards. But he's my number 3. Number 2, Steve Young. And I think you can't not put Steve Young in there. 32,000 passing yards, 3 Super Bowls, played with J.J. Stokes, obviously Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, 14-8 in the playoffs, 232 in the air, 4,200 rushing yards. He had 43 touchdowns on the ground, average almost 6 yards a carry as a quarterback when he carried the ball. He's my number 2. Number 1, I don't think you can leave him off. Mike Vick is number 1. There's no way anybody can leave him out. His stats aren't as good as Steve Young. Even Mark Brunell, obviously he was in prison for a bit. But I feel like he revolutionized the game as a running quarterback or a dual threat. He ran a 4.33 40, could launch the ball, could still throw, 6,100 rushing yards, 36 touchdowns. And honestly, I mean, he didn't really have any great receivers. Did he ever, Algie Crumpler at tight end? I remember
Algie Crumpler, good name drop.
Remember that? Yeah. Crumpler, who was it? Jenkins, Michael Jenkins, and then he had Ashley Lyle. With the Eagles, he did have LaShawn McCoy. I think it was LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson. But
yeah,
I just think he revolutionized the game for that dual threat. And imagine if he would have, that stuff didn't happen. And again, that was a much more when he came in 01 was a heavy run league. You're not a lot of these guys, Tuck, you probably agree, like Steve Young, Mark Brunell, like imagine if these guys threw the ball 40 or 50 times a game, like it is now. That's the difference in these eras because these stats are like, well, Steve Young, 33,000 passing yards. Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger have 60,000+ passing yards, but it's such a different era, now where they're just slinging it 40, 50 times a game average. It was much more balanced back then. So, but yeah, I take Mike Vick number 1, man.
See, I only call the tail. My era is only the tail end of Vick. So
Sure.
The arrows play a big factor here because
Yeah.
we don't got much. There's not many lefties in the game right now.
No.
No, there's not.
GMs
There
don't
wasn't really.
receivers don't like catching balls from lefties is what is the rumor, is what people say. It comes off different, it looks different. So they're not in the league like they were. So
And
yeah.
the spin's opposite.
Yeah.
Like, and it comes down opposite. Yeah.
Do you
I hear
see
you.
Zach Aaron? Why are you talking? Good Lord, we ain't watching in the 60s.
Yeah.
Steve Young played in the 90s. Mike Vick up until like what? He was 7 years.
Oh,
20.
yeah, 12.
No, he was longer than that.
Yeah, he 20.
15, 2016.
Yeah, was he
Okay.
that late?
Yeah, I think
I was thinking like 2012.
no. Look him up right now. Guarantee he's
I
at
will.
least until 2015 because he played for the Steelers for a bit. I think
Oh,
it was
yeah.
that
Packers
14.
beat him on the Eagles when they won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, dude, he was and he just like even when he came back from being in prison, like he just like there was like it was like effortlessly like him throwing the ball was just, and then the fact that he's just so fast, like
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic.
Vic.
Yeah, 2015, I guess, was his last year.
And Brunell, look at Zach. See, that's how young Zach is, man. You haven't heard of Mark Brunell? Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, wild. All right, so my word for your list, Cinda, would be copycat.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
What do you got, Tuck?
Let's hear it.
All right, so I have an honorable mention, though, so it will be a little
here we
different.
go.
than
That doesn't
list.
count.
Yeah, I know. He always got him though.
That's what I do. I do an honorable mention. You got Boomer Esiason.
Oh,
Remember
Jesus.
Boomer Esiason?
Bengals. Oh, geez.
Heck yeah, Boomer Esiason.
This
So
week, 60%
hey,
of the
listen.
audience doesn't know these guys.
Yeah.
look, Boomer Esiason. All right, Esiason. He actually has more passing yards than every guy that's on my list. He just played for the Bengals in a bad era.
Mhm.
He had a losing record. You know, he's like 80 and 90 something. Threw a decent amount of interceptions, I guess, is why I have the honorable mention part. But he had 242 passing touchdowns in his career, so it wasn't like he was a slouch.
No.
So he's my honorable mention. My number 3 is Mark Brunell, just like your Stenda.
MB.
So
Was he cutting out on us?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
I think he cut out.
all right. I'm back.
He's back now.
Did you guys hear my number 3?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Mark Brunell. He started when the Jaguars were the expansion team.
Yep.
And he took them the first 5 years. They went to the playoffs 4 years. So that's pretty impressive for an expansion team. Mark Brunell is a big part of that. I'm not going to read the stats that Stenda read. But he's a stud. That's when like all the starter jackets came out. Everyone's wearing the Jaguar starter jackets for your time, Tuck, but it happened. My number 2 is Michael Vick. All the obvious reasons that both you guys listed. And then my number 1 is the Bay Bomber, Steve Young. Is my number 1 lefty quarterback. I had a Bay Bomber Steve Young shirt back in the day. I was a huge Steve Young fan. I just loved the way he played. He could run the ball a little bit. He was elusive. He was an extremely accurate passer.
Sure.
I think he led the league like in completion percentage, like 5 or 6 years, possibly in a row. Like you said, Stenda, 3-time Super Bowl winner. He's just fun to watch. Steve Young, my man. That's my list.
Tuck, you got a word for him?
Weak.
Jeez, must be an omen to end the show.
I think your list was good. I'm gonna say it's weak because you called mine weak, but I just think the era's it's just so much different now.
Yep.
I'm not lucky enough to watch great lefty quarterbacks nowadays. Besides Tua, I think is the only starter in the league that's a lefty, and I wouldn't give him great, but he had to be on my list. He's in my era.
I hear you.
Yeah, Tua.
I hear you.
Yeah, he is. Who else? There aren't any other left-handed quarterbacks.
I think that's it. Do you guys remember Jared Lorenzen?
I do.
The big dude?
Yeah.
Yes.
He died, right?
Yeah, he passed away, but
Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Probably lived.
Wasn't he in like the Arena League?
Yeah.
For a while too.
Oh yeah. Played like for the Battlehawks or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, he was like, wasn't he like 500 pounds at one point? Like after football?
I think that's what led to his passing.
Yeah.
Well, he was like almost 300 probably in the Arena League.
Yeah, hefty lefty Arena League MVP.
There's JR. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hefty lefty
Wow.
Arena League MVP.
I'm talking about. Did he win the Heisman? Was he in the Heisman contention?
He
I don't
might have been.
I don't think he
I don't.
won, but I think he might have been a finalist. He was good at Kentucky.
Yeah, he was not a Heisman winner. I know that. But
No.
he could have been top 4 maybe in that. Wild stuff.
Fun to watch.
Yeah.
Coach Coy,
Right.
just think you could have been in the NFL, but you decided to coach football at Camanche. So
Yeah. I would have never made the NFL. Stenda would have been
I think you would have.
cool. Would have been pretty cool, but it'd be fun to be a coach in the NFL. That'd be cool. But
Oh yeah.
I'm sticking to Camanche High, man.
Well,
I'm a lifer.
dynasty. You're building a dynasty there.
I'm a lifer. That's the
Well,
plan.
Lifer, huh?
Yeah. My plan right now,
Calls you up with a better offer, more money.
unless Matt Eberflus sends me an email or gives me a call, you know.
Oh Jesus!
He probably won't get a job next year, so maybe you should send him a call.
Yeah.
Hey, easy. Yeah. See, Holly scoffed. She just said, "Glad he's our head coach. He's got 19 years left." Yep,
That's a long time.
it is. I know. Hopefully, Camanche wants to keep me for that long. We'll see. I don't know. But like Coach Beal said when he was on, he's with me till I'm gone. Coach Mulholland's with me till I'm gone. Coach Smith, they all signed it in blood, so it's true.
Wow.
It's happening.
How about that?
I'm joking. They didn't actually sign anything in blood. But, I like to say they did though. So got that rolling. All right, Tuck, you got anything before we sign off here?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys for having me on. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Thanks for
Good
coming
luck
on.
with
man.
the
Appreciate it.
upcoming season.
Thank you.
We'll have to. And you said your game is in October in Davenport.
Yeah, I think last weekend of October. Does that sound right, Coit? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, honestly,
Yeah.
but I know
Somewhere
it's in
towards the end of
October.
October. We're heading to play Ambrose at Ambrose. So
I think it's around Halloween time, though. Yeah,
We're gonna have to go, Coy.
yeah, I plan on going for sure.
I'll tailgate if they allow tailgate. I'm going.
Yeah, ask your buddy Argo, see what's going
I'll
on,
make
man.
sure to get on that. I'll
right.
send you a text.
Yeah, shoot me a text.
Will do.
Hey, Tuck, does Argo play football with you?
Yeah,
What positions he play?
middle linebacker.
Does he? Okay, so just like his brother, then, huh?
Comes in the family. Yeah,
Oh my! How big is he?
I think he weighs right now probably 215, 220.
See, Willie, if I remember right, Willie
He's a solid
is he?
220. He was a wrestler. He was a leadoff baseball player, center fielder.
That's where his brother played center field and pitched.
Family legacy.
Yeah, I think Willie was probably about 6'1", and he was probably maybe during football about $195, maybe 2. But yeah, he was a stud. Like that's crazy that they play like the exact same positions that many years later.
Yeah, John would tell you he's probably not as good as Willie. I never saw Willie play, but John's pretty dang good. So Willie must have been a stud.
Well, like I said, I saw him hit a bomb, and Lumber King Stadium's like 410 dead center.
Yeah.
Imagine if that sign wouldn't have been there. Who knows where that would have been on the riverfront. So it was just a good thing that the big sign was there to stop it.
He was a AAA baseball player, I believe.
Is he?
He was in Illinois. He played baseball at Illinois. I think he made it all the way up to AAA, if I'm not wrong, before he called it quits.
Yeah, so, I do remember him going to Illinois. Yeah.
Incredible.
Stud. Jeez.
That's awesome. All right, man.
All right. Well,
thanks again, Tuck. Appreciate everything. Good luck at camp.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll be following along, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right.
See you
Everyone
guys.
else, we're signing off. We'll be with you again soon from Beyond the Scoreboard podcast. Peace.
Adios.
All right.